Good morning. Welcome to the Well. I'm Maria with Angela from Grounded Dreamers. Our weekly soul guidance reading for the week of November 14th. So first, let's just pause, breathe, and just feel into kind of capture the essence of how you're feeling in this moment. And open up to receive whatever is coming through for you from this reading today. All right, Angela.
Okay, so if you remember last week, we talked about the eclipse and letting stuff rise up, old stuff, emotions, and just trash that's within us, I guess, the gunk, and letting it come up and air out so we can make an actual transition into something new. And now this week, we start with death, which is represented by the moth here. And we want to think of this as a symbolic death, mostly. Even if it's a physical death, there's still that, figurative part of it, right? The symbolic part of it, like the end of a phase, the end of a set of belief systems, the end of a journey, the end of a relationship, and the end of attachments. And that's, if we think of it as ending the things that aren't working for us anymore, then we know that it's an essential part of our growth. It's part of that cycle that we have to remain in order to keep growing. Next to that, I pulled the spirit of fire, which is transformative. Fire kind of clears the field and prepares to, facilitate new growth and let us, go forward from a washed out space, from sort of a blank slate. This is calling for us to take some risks, try something new, prepare to go forward in a new way. And then the reminder that I pull in this full moon in Aries card, which that's not what we're in, but it's still interesting that that's the card I pulled, because it's a fiery climax approaches, which kind of tells us if we don't do this clearing, if we don't allow for the transformation that the death card brings, the universe may push, it may push us into it anyway, right? So like if you're holding stuff in that you're not wanting to release and let go, something may happen to bring it to a head that forces you anyway to clear that. So these guidances are kind of like a little, head start to let us know we can clear this and we can do it safely at this time. I pulled the circle of life to kind of cap that row off, because that's, just if we're not involved in the circular motion and the round and round, and here we go again, death, rebirth, fill it up and grow it and then let it die off again. So that's what keeps us going, right? Is that whole process. Right. And then I pulled, now that we have this clearing, I got initiation. And this is the indication to go ahead and start that fresh thing. Get yourself prepared for it. And in this photo, if you see, she's receiving light and energy from the divine, from source, through her crown chakra. So the initiation in this case is not to get up and go and take action at this time. It's more to assess, receive information, listen for signs, and then plan out your forward movement, reminding us to always stay in the moment, right? We know we're always supported by the universe. And if we, like I love to say, keep your feet right under you, like this figure is, then we're not throwing ourselves off. We are receiving what is now and preparing to go forward. Then we have the traveling card, which reminds us this whole thing, the whole circle of life and all that is part of our larger journey. And even if in this moment it feels difficult, or letting go of something feels a little hard, and I don't know how I'll go on if I have to do this, you will go on. And that's the reminder here. There is still a lot of road left. Your journey is ongoing. And then the final card to cap off this set is celebrate. So every time we get to release and create new and move with our own energy into that creation, it's cause for celebration, because we know as a human being, we like to cling. It's not easy to wash some of this stuff into our past. So that celebrate card's important to give us the credit for being willing to engage in the whole circle.
The celebration of the victory in the journey, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So yeah, let's pause and be with this reading. Just take a moment to feel into your own being, your own system. Maybe ask yourself in your own system, what death is occurring in your life right now? What letting go, what release are you being called to do? And breathing in and releasing with your breath. Maybe even considering the essential role of grief in the letting go process. Just taking a moment to allow the element of air through your breath to even support that fire, that transformative fire. And then we'll open our eyes and come back into the second part of the reading. But I just remembered there have been so many times in my journey in my life where circumstances that I've been in have made me, have forced me to make changes in my life that were absolutely the best changes for me to make in my life. But oh my God, were they painful. And I love thinking of these experiences as initiations, right? If our relationship with pain can be seen that way, it truly can be a catalyst for these powerful transformational opportunities. Yeah. But we also don't have to wait until the pain is so bad. It has to happen that way, right?
This is the guidance. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that insight.
Yeah, that's what this is kind of indicating, is we don't have to wait. And actually the second half of the reading is kind of saying you can actually do some digging and excavate it, purposely, not just waiting for the universe to prompt you, right?
Yeah.
I got the card forcing you until the pain gets a little, bigger in that, but it does wash away, but it ends up being a little more of a challenge than if we were to, act on it ourselves. I got these animal cards, the raven and the badger, and they're secret and reveal. And the raven card kind of indicates to prepare yourself for some difficult realizations or difficult things coming to light, and maybe even digging up some information that you've been hiding from yourself, from others, from the universe, whatever, but stuff that's been pushed down and really dormant. And then the badger, just the reveal, the badger burrows underground and it shakes things up, and it can actually move. Like if it moves roots, the tree could, it actually makes changes in the dark, and then let things come up to light, is what this is saying. So those are it's kind of interesting the way those came out after that initial reading of, we need to create a clearing, let's get moving forward. And this is kind of saying you might have to even dig a little deeper if you really want to do that work and bring it up into the light, which follows this card I pulled, you are light. So remember, the things that maybe are hidden and maybe feel a little bit frightening to bring up, or intimidating, or make us feel vulnerable, it's important. It's so important to bring it up into the light, let it shake out, let it air out, let the stuff that's not working fall away, and then we get to create with that ball of light that's left, right? And then in that process, like we just said, that could create some vulnerability. That's the key, though. That's your sweet spot in preparing for change and preparing for your next level of growth, is being willing to be vulnerable and a little shaky and a little unsure. So the guidance after that is stop, drop, and ground. Because if we remember to just align ourselves in this present moment, none of that, the vulnerability usually comes from worry, fear, regret, or things that aren't really in this present moment, right? And they're all parts of our mind, our imagination, really. And so and the feelings that come up that make us vulnerable are old. So we can let that up and be safe if we remain grounded. And then the next card I got is flowering. So now your intentions and those things that were underground, you know, that were like kind of are able to blossom and come up, and we can let some of them fly away and some of them stay in our experience that we want to develop further and nurture some of these aspects of ourselves. And then the final card is a reminder that we're creating all of this. We're creating the quality of the experience we're having. We're not creating the things that happen, but we're creating how we respond to them and how we feel in moving through some of these challenges and some of this growth. So we have all the power as to how we want to show up.
Yeah, you know, I do think, though, that we do co-create experiences that end up happening with us in relationship to our environment, right? So we are co-creators, and that's why it's so important to think about how our response to situations that are happening, you know, it's just so important, you know, to think about how we're all constantly co-creating our experience.
Yeah, the universe will bring those things into our experience. That's their part of the co-creation, and we get to decide what to do with it. And you know, whether we want to improve and grow from it or let it take us down for a minute and wallow in it a bit. But we are always co-creating with spirit, and and we're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So let's be with this deep reading, this journey, right, from death and shadow and dark realms and to the flowering and the light. Once again, it's such a beautiful journey. Just want to invite everyone to breathe and be with this question, this deep question of, what is the deepest secret within you that maybe nobody knows? Maybe you yourself don't even know. Just be with this. And with your next breath, go even deeper with this. And maybe bring in a symbolic flashlight and kind of look around in the shadows. And then allow feeling into what you deeply want for yourself at this juncture in your life, whatever that may be. Just allow that wanting to emerge and then become intentional, and let that become your intention for this week. And so it is. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.